This is Jacob here, and I am going to walk you through scanning and merging those scans together. Here I'm going to take a scan of myself. Of course, I have no one to take a scan of me right now. So I'm using the capture timer. I'm setting it to delay 4 seconds and to take 6 captures. Now I've found that to get a good capture, I only really need 3 of the front and 3 of the back, and occasionally a few more for the top of my head in case the scanner doesn't catch it very well. So here back in the program, I'm clicking on the Render tab, and all the pictures I took showed up. And so I click on the mesh, and I'm doing batch mode because I want it to just process all of these. And this is where the program takes all that raw data captured from the Connect. It applies a filter to it. Down here in the bottom left corner, you can see it's processing those and creating full color mesh files from them. So I'm speeding up the video here. So now, a reason I don't have it do this right when it captures the image is I've found that a quick scan is key to a successful scan because of how much people move around. So you can do this after you're done scanning the person. Okay, so when we're done, we're now on the Process tab. And you can double click to move one over, or you can just click Select All. If you click on the Merge button there, it makes all of those into one project file. We don't need to do that right now. The 2 scripts I'm running is to remove clusters of mesh, to where if the faces on the mesh are just grouped out by themselves, if there's 1,000 or less together, then remove them. And telling it to clean up unused data. That's points in the mesh file that aren't a part of the mesh. So I run those scripts, and now I'm on a different computer. I'm opening up the shared storage that I saved those to. And here is that project folder. Inside the project folder, I know 1, 2, and 3 are the front scans. So I'm going to go ahead and process the front first. So I opened up 1, and here I'm adding 2 and 3 to the project file. Click Open, and it automatically shows all the files on the right there. Now what I'm going to do is I have selected number 1. I click on this tool up here to select points. I highlight them, then I delete them. Then I select number 2, same tool, select the points, highlight them, delete them, same with point 3. And so this way I'm cutting out the stuff I'm not wanting to work with for the mesh. But you have to be sure you select the file along the right side that you want to cut from. I hit Control-S, and now I'm saving the project file. In MeshLab, you'll learn that you need to save your work often. There's not an undo function, and this program crashes often. Or depending how you use it, it may crash often. I unchecked Use False Colors because I like to see the actual color. It helps me get in a line. I click Point-Based Alignment. I hold Control to pan over the image instead of just rotating it. And here I'm just double clicking on one image where I want to point, and then on the other image where the corresponding point is. I like to match up key areas. I mean, it's easy to match the buttons on my shirt, but the important areas are like your nose, corner of your lips, in between your eyebrows, those key areas that are very easy to pinpoint and in matter. So here I'm speeding things up a bit. It's pretty much the same across all of them. And when I'm done aligning, I hit process there. Now I'm trimming off because my arms moved when I rotated during in between scans, and I didn't like the alignment, so I'm trying it again, selecting different points. It wasn't lining up very well. And I keep clicking process to see if it'll move closer and closer how I want. But see, the nose there is is too skinny. It's not right. But I figure, you know, let's try it. This is just a draft run through anyways. Just want to show you. So here what I did is I right-clicked and I choose Flatten Visible Layers. And that will combine all of those 1, 2, and 3 into the same file. And so now I save them as 1, 2, and 3. So now I have my front done. I say OK. It's showing black and white, but it has color. It's just I have to say View, Show Color to have it show up. But I'm done. I've saved it. So closing the front now. Right now. OK, there. And now we're going to, oh, here, I'm opening it up to show. See, it's in color. Yeah. OK, so now we're going to open up, it'd be 4, 5, and 6. And we'll just speed through this part, I believe, because it's pretty much the same as the front. You just line up the points best you can. The further away the points you line up, the better. So it'd be better to do like matching up your shoulders than it would be to match up the center of your neck. Just the further away the points you match up, I've found the better the alignment is. Okay, so just running through same process, matching the points. They don't have to be super exact because when you click on process after you align these, you click on the process button and it'll help push them over on top of each other. Like, see this? I keep clicking process and you could see it was kind of shifting back and forth because it found that middle area. So there's back scan. Here's the front and back. I'm opening both these files together, and so now I'm going to attempt to merge them together. I've noticed it's kind of hard to tell on my shoulders where they are at, and it's having trouble aligning them because I'm not getting good points that are matching up right. Well, I mean, that's what I thought. But if you actually look at this, you'll see when I aligned my face, here I'm looking at it now, you can see my nose is all scrunched together. And that's made my face a little more narrow than it actually is. So I need to realign my front, or I needed to get a better alignment. But I figure, you know, this is just a draft run. Let's show you guys how to do this. So I'm saving it anyways, and let's look how this turns out. So up here in render, now that I have everything in the same file, I'm going to choose Surface Reconstruction Poseidon. The settings I like are 8, 6, 5, and 1.25. Hit apply, and this will convert it into a solid object. Filled in all the holes, all the gaps. I look kind of like I have an afro because of that misalignment there between the scans. And I did do scans of the top of my head, but I decided not to add them. That would have helped also. I'm trying an octree depth level of 9. The octree depth is kind of like how curvy it is. The samples per node helps to smooth it out. And the surface offsetting is how close is it to the original surface. And here I'm going to do what's called a subdivision, butterfly subdivision. Alliterations, I'm just going to do 2, and the edge threshold, I want it to be 1 millimeter. What this is doing is it's creating more points for color to be transferred to. The Poseidon reconstruction, the reconstruction tends to create fewer points. And so I do this to increase the number of points. Otherwise, when I transfer color from the merged mesh onto the full solid object, if there aren't enough points, I'm going to lose color data. So create more points, transfer the color. Here, the max distance search, if you increase that, that will make color spread to areas that don't have color. So here we say render color per vertex, so it will show the color that's there now. And yeah, it looks quite awful. This like patchy color that's going on along my face, it's because the lighting is not uniform. When I turned, I had that bright light above my head, and so it actually made the color different depending on which angle. Here you see my nose did not exactly come out right. That's what the problem was. Underneath you can see that would usually be white, but because I told the max distance to search to be larger, it pulled the color over that white area. And so yeah, normally it takes me like an hour to make a good mesh, and this run through I only did half an hour. It's Saturday, you know. Insert excuse here. So and what am I looking at here? I think I was trying to decide if I want to keep this or not. I decided to, yeah, just keeping this. So we are going to go back into the program to select the size. So I hit refresh. I double right click to move everything out of the list, and here is the finished product. And I want to just resize it to a 1/12 or a 1/6. But I realize I need to remove the other scripts. No need to run cleanup on this. But when I told it to run, it didn't run the script. I realized because I made it in here, you can tell it to flatten the meshes together. You can tell it make solid as doing that Poseidon script. And I have it, when it does that, it adds a P at the end of the mesh file. So it knows which file to get color from and which file to copy color to. So what I'm doing right here is I'm just renaming this finished mesh so it has a P at the end so my script can run. You can expect things like that to probably change in the future, but that's just a little thing how I currently have my scripts. Okay, so now I can overwrite that project, save all files, yes, yes. Okay, doing a refresh, and there it now has a P, now choosing to resize 1/12 the size, that's about 8%. It's good if you're printing up stuff from the real world to have a consistent size ratio, so you can, all your statues are consistent and stuff. And there you could see, if you double clicked on the project name at the top, it'll open the project folder, and under the completed folder will be the mesh you resized. It'll have the mesh name, but then it'll add a number at the end depending which size you chose. If you chose 1/12, it'll add a 12. If you chose 1/6, it'll add a 6 at the end. All right, so this 3D model right here can be sent to a 3D printer to be printed up in full color. Of course, I wouldn't print this one up personally, but as you go through, and if you have good ambient lighting, and then you just trim off the stuff you don't want, you can get full color scans, and I will plop a picture at the end of this of one I have on my desk right here. Thanks for watching.